Hi everybody, it's Rachel from Scrappy Happy on Instagram, here with a crafty video all about my journey and adventure with Christmas in July. So this year I connected with Christian from Christian's Crafty Adventure and Pia from Craft Amazing, and we had a Zoom meeting, and the three of us talked about doing a collaboration where we get to connect with other crafters and get ready for Christmas projects. Christmas is such a busy time of year with Christmas parties, Christmas shopping, decorating, planning parties, Christmas concerts, baking, all those things. And we have the best of intentions with buying those pretty Christmas papers and making Christmas cards and tags and all these other embellishments for projects. And time gets away from us and we don't nearly get as much as we wanted to get done. This year, it's going to be different because all three of us are encouraging you to join us with a Christmas in July 2020 PHA challenge. So what we're going to be doing is having themed weeks throughout the month of July to help you get creating your projects. So this is a little bit of a process video and where I'm at with week 1. So week 1, do-it-yourself embellishments. Week 2 is tags and bag toppers. Week 3 is Christmas greeting cards. Week 4 is either mini albums or traveler's notebooks. And week 5 is 3D pretty packaging projects. So although we have themes, you can join us wherever you're at any time, posting projects using that hashtag so we know that you're a part of the challenge. So again, it's Christmas in July 2020 PHA challenge. So please connect with us on Instagram using that hashtag and we'll be able to see your projects. So this video, as I said, is a bit of a process video of how I like to go start and how my process has changed a little bit since learning and watching from Christian's Crafty Adventure. So the first thing is coming up with a plan. So as I was saying, week 1 was all about embellishments. So I sat down and decided I'm going to think about the project, so choosing my paper, then I'm going to choose my stamps and sentiments, and then the different things that I want to do to create. This has changed a little bit since I started, but it has the same process. So this is where I am with week 1, and this is the paper that I decided to choose. So apparently when I was talking to Christian, it's a older paper collection from Recollections, and I bought it at Michael's because here in Canada there's not a lot of places where you can buy Christmas paper and scrapbooking supplies. So we're not as fortunate as all of you in the US that have Hobby Lobby and Joann's and Tuesday Morning. So I picked up this paper, I think quite a few years ago, thinking I was going to make photo folios with the paper, and I just ran out of time. I didn't do the December daily photo folio like I had planned. So I pulled this paper from my stash. I was particularly interested in it because it had this pattern paper here, and this one was cut apart here. And I'll show you in a little moment what I decided to do with all this paper. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to pull my metal die cuts that I think will provide good bases for my do-it-yourself embellishments. So I pull all these and I keep them in these candy dishes so they don't get lost. I typically organize my dies on a magnetic wall in my scrap room, but when I'm creating and making stuff, I like to put them in here so that they don't get lost. This is from another project. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with that, but they're all in here, sort of usually better organized than this, but because I just finished with making stuff, it's not quite as neat as I would like it to. So then the next thing is that I do is I pull out my Christmas stuff and I go through all my stamps. Just move this over. I go through all of my stamps and the ones that I think would work well for making do-it-yourself embellishments. So I pulled out the Snag 'em stamp, Christmas ornament, a reindeer, these little tweetums with the dies, and this owl and the owl die. I love this stamp set so much, I almost bought 2 of them with the coordinating die. So I need to use that one this year for sure. Then I pulled out these Simon Says stamps, and they're really neat because you can mix and match all of them and create your own sentiments with your inks and everything. So I'm looking forward to using that. This I just came today with Amazon with a paper order that I got. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I have something that I will make, I'm sure, with it. Then I pulled this Greeting Farm stamp out because she's a little wintry. Then I have Coffee Ian drinking hot cocoa. And then I pulled out these Thinlits, which I bought last year and didn't use. And then these snowflakes are just in there because I accidentally threw out the packaging from last year. These are oldie but goodie stamps I have pulled that would make great sentiments. I really like this ticket and just that little tag. It said handmade with love, something you could stamp and attach to some of the packaging. This is a retired stamp set by Amy R. She's actually Canadian, and she used to design for CC Designs. And I fell in love with this stamp set because you can mix and match your greetings, and that's what I plan on doing with that. Then I have this cute little stamp set. I really like this hot cocoa, and then it has some cute sentiments on there. These are really fun. They're Sizzix dies, word dies. I like using these instead of my Cricut or my Silhouette because they are so dainty, and you can use scraps left over from your collection, and it peels off much easier than sometimes from a sticky mat. So I have both of those to work with. This stamp set here, I thought these images would be great to color. I have this one here that I thought would be good, and I have this snowflake rosette die. I have this joy die, which I've used lots with glitter paper because I don't like usually using my Cricut to cut glitter paper. Snowflake stamp and some Sizzix snowflake dies. And I actually think I have some more snowflake dies that I'm surprised I didn't pull out. But anyway, this is all the stuff that I have to stamp and make. So I pull all that out. Then I look through I'm just going to move this to the side. Then I looked through my patterned paper scrap stash. So I had tons of scrap paper left over from Christmas last year that I just threw in a Ziploc bag like this. So after I chose my collection, I pulled things out that I thought would actually work, and you can see this is still overloaded with tons of pattern paper that I will plan on making greeting cards or some sort of project with that. So I pulled that out, and then with my dies, I went through and I have this little board here that has all these little compartments that fits great at the top of my desk that I like to fill and coordinate. So one night, all I did was punch a ton of these flowers with red foil paper, green foil paper, and green glitter paper. And then I put it on one of these pink trays and used a whole bunch of Nuvo drops for the center, and that's full in this one here. And then I have a whole bunch of top note dies and all the dies that I pulled, page flags. These are actually like for planners, but work great for sentiment. So I pull those and divvy it up in all the little carts so that everything's nice and organized, and I can pull and mix match. So I did a lot of prep with that using my Big Shot. Then I found those papers with the cut apart. So there was 2 sheets of each paper in that paper collection. So the next thing I did was cut all of these up to use as sentiments. So it coordinates with the paper. Such a great way of extending your stash and super reasonable. Then the next thing I did is I took all these cut aparts and made a whole bunch. So I think these will be good for tags or Christmas cards, when I do my Traveler's Notebook, for Traveler's Notebook week. anything like that. Then I had some scrap paper that I used, so I ended up cutting a whole bunch of rosettes. Now, I wasn't able to get the Tim Holtz rosette die, but I had a rosette file on my in my silhouettes designs, so I cut a whole bunch of rosettes, and I'll show you those in another video of what I have so far made with all this stuff. Then I have this glitter tool that comes from the Dollar Tree that I bought that I have die cut with, and I can use to make embellishments. I do plan to make some more of that, so that went in there. Then in the stash here were all these, I was looking for that, this paper with all these circles. So it was 2 sheets. I just fussy cut all these circles and have put them in this divider. Then I had tons of white scrap paper left over from some traveler's notebooks when you cut them to get it to fit the signatures. And I had tons of paper that normally I would just throw out, but I actually did a whole bunch of die cutting, and I'm going to put some Christmas sentiments on there and have those ready ahead to attach to everything. So these trays that I have everything in come from the dollar store. So that was another night of prepping the paper. Then there was I spent another evening kind of experimenting with coloring. So this was that stamp image that I showed you, and I'm just learning still to be how to color images and do all the shading and everything. But I stamped these on watercolor paper, and then I colored them with my watercolor paints and a water brush. So these ones here, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I used puffy paint to make it look more like whipped cream. So I'm not sure what I'll use those, whether it's a Christmas card or what, but I have a whole bunch of those that I colored and painted. And so that's everything that I had to work with. Then I pulled out stamps. So I have these sort of 3 Christmas pigment inks that I can use from Michael's. And then I have my Memento black ink and my VersaFine black ink, depending on whether I'm using alcohol inks or whether I'm using water-based inks. So then I have everything ready to go and divided and compartmentalized. And I just like how organized and pretty it looks. And then I start creating. So this is a little bit, oops, sorry guys, this is a little bit of a process video to kind of talk about what I do to get started with this Christmas in July challenge. I hope you learned a little bit about getting started and getting organized, and what I do, since I don't have the access to the big collections like many of you ladies from the US have with your Tuesday morning shop hauls. So thank you so much for joining me of this episode of Let's Get Crafty, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.